All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Sun Crypto. It is Monday, August 22nd, 2022, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In today's content, we'll talk about BTC on lower degree, possibly all the way up to the higher time frame, right? Monthly, quarterly, and all that good stuff, right? We'll take a look at Ethereum as we lost the 1710 pivot point, and now we're trading below the $1,600 range. So we'll take a look at Ether and all that good stuff. We'll take a look at Ether on the weekly time frame and what type of price action we could we could be anticipating over the next like a few days or even weeks going forward, right? So if you're new to our content, don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to join the public Telegram group, link in the description. You can also join Send Premium Discord group, link in the description. All right. So let me make sure the sound is good before we dive into the analysis. Oh, we got T-Dog in the house. Leroy Jenkins got the first like. Thanks a lot, man. So don't forget to hit the likes, guys. We got John Smith, Quiet Cook. Hey, what's up, cuz? Cooking some USDC in the kitchen and flushing some ADA down the drain. Izmir in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Izmir EOS pumping hard. All right, we'll see. Okay, if EOS gonna continue its short-term pump, right? So now let's go ahead and review BTC on the 3D before we talk about the 2D time frame, right? So I think like last Monday, right, we talked about how important it was to pay attention to the daily time frame. We'll take a look at the daily later on, okay? But going to the if we want to analyze the 3D time frame, we just want to focus on one thing only, our MACD. Okay, so in order to get a continuation to the downside, what we need to see over the next like a few days or even weeks, we want to see our MACD on our 3D basis to cross negative. Okay, so we anticipated the drop from the 3D 21 resistance right here. We talk about it, guys. If you've been following me long enough, right? I don't think I did not make any public update, right? Back then in July and all that good stuff, but I was making some premium updates, right? And we'll send exactly the 3D 21 going to be our toughest challenge in Q3, not just in like in July or August and all that good stuff, but the entire Q3, right? Our main pivot resistance going to be the 3D 21. That's what I said exactly back in May, June, right? Before even the start of the resistance level, right? So we got multiple rejection. Yes, we got a couple of candles above the 3D 21, but we didn't get a strong uptrend. All right, so we broke below the 3D 21. MACD, it is still positive. We're getting a temporary support at the trend line support, the parallel channel. To me, right, it seems like the parallel channel is 80% done, right? And we could basically continue the downtrend, okay? But we will need to get our MACD to cross negative. If the MACD doesn't cross negative, right, it means bulls got possibly over 70% chance, right, to hold the support area somewhere around like a 0.786 down to a 0.888, right? So if we want to use our Fibonacci to spot our 0.786, the 0.786 is going to be somewhere around like 19k, and 0.888 going to be somewhere around like 18.3. All right, so that's going to be our temporary support. So if we get that support, guys, we want to see if MACD will basically get repelled, meaning like MACD pushing back to the upside. If that's the case, right, we could possibly get a double top, double bottom somewhere around here with some noise in this area. It could drop all the way down to a 17. I just don't know, but I just want to respect these fibs. I'm not saying these going to be some permanent supports, but I'm just saying temporary support, okay? Because we're talking about like the 3D time frame, the volatility is much higher, than the if the MACD gets closer to the signal line, the volatility could be pretty high, but it could drop as low as $17,000, right? And if we break it, this key area, right, and and want to invalidate our possible pushback curve, we could be looking for the low 16. That's why I'm saying bulls just have to be very cautious, and bears got to take profits right here, 18 to a $17,000 range, and basically just adjust stop loss to see if we could get a lower target support all the way down to a low 16Ks. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover for the 3D basis, right? So on the 2D basis, it is not quite negative yet. It is getting closer. We could get a negative momentum within the next 4 hours, right? So if you take a look at it right here in terms of a 2D time frame, it looks like the MACD, right, wants to cross negative right here. And I've been showing you guys over the last few days, been telling you guys, we're going to be paying attention to our 3D time frame, but we want to see right first if the 2D time frame will cross negative. If it crosses negative, we're going to get possibly 80 to 90% chance of our 3D MACD crossing negative, or even dumping lower. So we will watch and see right over the next let's say 3 to 6 days, 7 days, if we're going to get a strong negative crossover like that. We don't want to see a weak crossover, okay, crossing negative right here and flipping back bullish on the 2D. That's not going to be good for the bears. It means it could take a very long time before we get a parabolic downtrend, right, below the 17 or down to the 16K support and all that good stuff. So you need to watch your 2D time frame, right, on your MACD. It is very, very important, right, to keep an eye on it, right? So in terms of Fibonacci on the 2D basis, it doesn't change, right? We talk about the 50% pullback going to give us a temporary support. That's where we're getting our temporary support, and all the short-term traders are just jumping and humping and spreading a reversal and all that good stuff. Even if we get a temporary push, you still got your 2D 21 EMA somewhere around 22.9 as of now. Okay, remember it is a moving average, so don't just go ahead and say Send Crypto said 22.9. So it is a moving average. Even if it pushes to the upside, for the short-term trader, you got to you got to keep an eye on your 2D 21 EMA resistance. If not, you could even look for your 3D 21 EMA resistance over the next a few days if you're still bullish, right, and all that good stuff. But if you remember, if you're trading BTC on a macro level, 21K plus minus 10, it is a good buy. Okay, it is a good buy for your long-term hold, right? Just to remind you guys, I'm analyzing BTC, between let's say 21K plus minus 10-15%. But if you're looking for the next macro swing up to 180 to 100K, 21K is a good level to be buying as of now, because we already hit our monthly 50 SMA at 21K plus minus 10. I said it in Q2, so I just don't want to go ahead and repeating myself regarding the macro support 21K plus minus 10. It is a good hold for your long term. Okay, and then we will talk about the 100 SMA or even 100 EMA at 16K. The 100 EMA on a monthly, it is, let's take a look at the monthly. Let's just take a quicker look of the monthly time frame, right, and then we will go back down to the daily time frame. I don't think Binance has a 100-month and all that good stuff. 100-month EMA. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Gemini doesn't have one either. Okay, I guess I just have to suck it up and delete all of that. Okay, so the 100-month EMA, right, it is at 16, just by a 16.5. And if we want to include the 100-month SMA, it is at 12K as of now. So right there, right, that's going to be the next macro support area, right? You want to keep an eye on above the, below the 21K macro support. Okay, so below the 21K macro support, the only other DCA range, if you looking to bag some BTC for your next like a macro swing up to like up to 100K 200K range, going to be between a 16K all the way down to like a 12K. I would say 14K plus minus 10-15%, right? So but if you're short-term trading, right, we talk about the daily time frame. Let's take a look at the daily. So on the daily basis, the only thing we're going to need, actually we're going to need two things, right? Our MACD and our RSI. So on the daily, what we said last Monday, I think, right, we talked about like if we break the daily RSI right here, okay, we're going to be we're going to be quite bearish all the way down to the temporary support right here at 50% to 382 range, and that's exactly what happened. So as long as we broke below the trend line right there on the 17th, and I was saying, guys, it is time to pack our bags. If you did not short at 24K, make sure to accumulate some shorts around 23 and higher, because you don't want to be shorting at the trend line support. I'm not saying it won't break it, but the risk is higher up here just in case, right, we get a pushback up. So you have to put a stop loss if you short it at 24K, just in case. Okay, we take a cheap shot back up to the trend line support and get a more sideways correction in this range, create another Wyckoff distribution somewhere around here. Okay, that's the only thing I can see. I'm not seeing a parabolic move. If we don't break the 21K support, we could get more sideways correction, right, going into September or even October, right? So something to keep in mind, right? So just have to put a stop loss now. But the lower end target, it is still the 19 to 18.3 temporarily, right? Just like what we got right here, 21K support. We could get a temporary support, move sideways, and possibly retest the 17.5. If we break the 17.5, just have to suck it up all the way down to 16 low 16K area, right? So it means bulls got a lot of work to do, and bears, they just have to sit tight, relax, and let the market do the work. Okay, don't want to be shorting, once again, don't want to be shorting BTC, especially below below the 20K area. Okay, even though it can drop all the way down to 16, you just don't know what type of correction we will get in this range. So you don't want to be shorting at or near the bottom. Okay, you don't want to be shorting anywhere around here. Okay, below 20K. Okay, you don't want to be shorting right here, because you just don't know if we're going to be retesting the 25K, because the weekly 21 EMA is approaching. Okay, the weekly 21 EMA is approaching, right? Let's do this. All right. I don't think I will get it back. Let's do this. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on the weekly. So the weekly 21 EMA is approaching, right? So that's going to be our next major resistance, right? I'm not sure, once again, if BTC will do something like that, or if BTC just going to do something like that. That's a big challenge as of now. All right, so we don't know what type of a pattern we're going to get with BTC in that range. Okay, so we don't know if we're going to get the macro wedge pattern, something like that, Okay, so we could get a flat correction in white, or we could get a macro a descending triangle in blue, something like that, or we could get the wedge pattern in orange, something like that. We don't know. Okay, we could get something to we could get one of these pattern in the next like a few weeks. The worst case scenario is like we just dump hard all the way down to 14K and all that good stuff, right? All right, so now let's move on to Ethereum. All right, so Ethereum on a 3D basis, it is basically following BTC. We hit our weekly 21 EMA resistance slash the 3D 50. If you guys recall, over the last few days, I've been saying like if alt pump, if some of these alt they pump above their daily 100 EMA, they will pump all the way up to the 3D 50. Okay, slash weekly 21 EMA. The 3D 50 is pretty close to your weekly 21 EMA. Okay, so Ether got rejected right there just by like a 1950. It actually pumped all the way up to like a 2030, 2029, give or take, depending on which exchange you're using, right? And now it is below the 3D 21, so that's not good at all in the short term. On the 2D basis, our trend line support on our RSI right here got broken, right? We got a negative momentum on our RSI, bang, right here. So we're looking for the MACD right there to cross negative. Okay, so keep an eye on Ether, right, on the 2D MACD. Okay, the worst case scenario once again for the bears is like Ether decides to create a more sideways correction in this range above the 1350, just about like 1350 1400 range. We could get a temporary support just to move sideways. That's possible, but I don't see it happening right now if the 2D MACD crosses negative. Okay, because all these negative crossover we had over the last few months, they basically generated a big dump to the downside. The one we had right here, we shorted Ether around like 3150 after the 2D MACD crossed negative, right? Bang. Okay, but this one we shorted it at the top. Okay, 1710 first, 1950 and higher. We said accumulate shorts because we know we're going to be dumping later on once we get our negative crossover. It was quite aggressive, right? Because we did not get a pattern for a reversal, but we knew the resistance was going to be pretty strong. Okay, if you take a look at it right here at the top, we also shorted Ether right there, 4100 range. Okay, all the way down to 2850, 3150. Okay, once again right there back in September 2020, got a negative crossover, dumped down to a support right around like a 2650 before the push to the upside. Okay, at the top back in 2021, May 2021, as you can see, cross negative, dump all the way down to a final support somewhere around like a 1710. Okay, so we'll see on a 2D basis if we're going to get a continuation to the downside, right? So on a daily basis, RSI broke the trend line support, first support right there, right here back in June, right? Second support back in July. We just broke the temporary support right there. Okay, so if you've been watching me, I've been telling you don't FOMO into Ether above 1750. Yes, it could pump all the way up to 2150, but the downside potential is much greater. Okay, dropping all the way down to $1,000. So that's going to be a 50% move. Instead of basically buying Ether at $1,900 $2,000 range, you're looking for 2200 range, you could be selling it and rebuying it below the 1350, 1250, or even down to 1000. Okay, the only reason, once again, we targeting 1350, right, up to 1350 down to 1250 is like in terms of Fibonacci, right there, 50%, right, down to a 0.618, going to be 1350, $13.50, okay, just like BTC just broke out below the support area, right, and dumped down to a 50% pullback. So Ether could be following. And if we go ahead and take a look at the Ether dominance, as I've been saying, one of the reasons why, you know, you shouldn't be too bullish on Ether is like the Ether dominance is too high. The Ether dominance was too high, almost 21%. If you followed our analysis back here, back in December, when the Ether dominance was at 22, what we said, we're going to dump. And if you followed our analysis back in May, right, when the Ether dominance was around like 20%, what we said, we're going to drop all the way down to 14%, as low as 14.5. Okay, so just by analyzing the Ether dominance, right, you could basically anticipate the Ether moves up or down. Okay, up or down. So we will see within the next like a few days or weeks if the Ether dominance is going to be coming back down to a, you know, mid 15 16 range, right, and all that good stuff. Okay, so the Ether dominance is too high. It is too high, guys. So keep an eye on the weekly time frame. We could be dropping. Let's take a look at it on the 3D action. We could be dropping back down to our support on our side right here. So if we drop right here, you know, you don't want to be shorting Ether at all. Even though, you know, you're analyzing the Ether dominance, you know, the dominance could be pushing back up. And if the Ether dominance pushes back up, it means like the BTC dominance will be pushing back down. Okay, so speaking of the BTC dominance, let's go ahead and take a look at the BTC dominance. So if you take a look at the BTC dominance, I'm waiting for one thing only, for the 3D MACD to cross negative on BTC USDT, and then we will take a look at the BTC dominance, right? But the BTC dominance is back down to the 40%. So we'll see on the 2D basis, it is not yet flipping bullish, right? So we'll see if on the 2D basis we will flip bullish, or if we're going to retest the 39.5 support. But as of now, I'm just waiting for the BTC USDT 3D MACD to cross negative to basically analyze the BTC dominance. Well, the reason for that is like, if the BTC USDT chart 3D MACD crosses negative, it means, okay, BTC will most likely continue its downtrend, right, to lower support, and possibly, okay, the BTC dominance going to be pushing to the upside. Okay, so something to keep in mind, if BTC USDT 3D MACD crosses negative, right, you got to be very cautious with alt, because alt could be breaking below the you know, June lows and all that good stuff, right? And the BTC dominance could be pushing back up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the alt dominance. So if you take a look at the alt dominance, right, it is basically the opposite of the BTC dominance. Okay, it is quadruple tapping. Okay, it is quadruple tapping. Okay, so and we could possibly be retesting the you know, 50% pullback at some point. You got 50% pullback back in May 2021, right? 50% pullback down to I mean 50% in terms of dominance. Okay, July 2021. Okay, got a trend line support right here, October 2021, and retested the you know, 51% right here back in June 2022. Okay, so I wouldn't be FOMOing, even if alt going to get a temporary pump to retest the let's say 60% dominance, right? I wouldn't be FOMOing between like 59 to you know, 60%, because the downside risk is much greater, and it could basically even drop lower, right? So, and you could just do this, right? The major move to the downside going to be somewhere around like 44%. So 100 minus 44, you got what? You know, 56%. So it means the BTC dominance could be pumping all the way up to a 56% in the next like a few months. So it is not a day trading analysis. Remember back in September 2021 when the alt dominance, right? But in terms of BTC, when I was saying the BTC dominance will be pushing to the upside, it meant the alt dominance was going to dump, and it did that exactly. Okay, and back in January at the same time, right? 4 months later, I said it's going to dump, and it dumped all the way down to a 50%. So if we're going to dump again, it could take like 4 to 6 months to dump down to like a 44%, right? Because you just don't know in terms of timing. You just don't know in terms of timing, right? If this guy is going to do something like that, right? You don't know what type of a structure you're going to get, but we will just say, retest of the 50%. If we break it, we will go down here. That's all. Okay. But how about a pump to the upside? I just don't see this guy pumping to the upside, right? Getting a major move, right? And being like 70%. Okay. I just don't see it right now. Okay. I just don't see it as of now. It is a valid analysis. If you bullish on alt, you could say, oh, alt could get the major move to the upside and pump all the way up to 70%, meaning like the BTC dominance dropping down to 30%. But realistically, as of now, right, I just don't see it happening. Okay, but we will see. If we break out above like 61, 63, okay, we will pay attention to it. But I just don't want to pay attention to it as of now. Okay. If we break above 63, I will start to pay attention to alt going up to like, possibly 70%, right? But the probability is very low. So I don't want to use too much energy analyzing something with low probability, okay? Hey, what's up, John Doe? Thanks a lot for tuning in. All right, guys, so we're done with Ether. We're done with BTC. So I'm going to take some chart requests. If you have any alt. If not, I just call it a day. Hey, what's up, Craig? Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. Craig is a doom boy. Been shorting BTC forever. So guys, you gotta learn how to be patient like Craig, man. When I was talking about shorting BTC at 24K, most people weren't paying attention to the 3D 21 EMA resistance. But if you paid attention to the 3D 21 EMA resistance, you're not going to be panicking, because it wasn't a day trade analysis. I knew it could take like a 2 or 3 or even a month, 2 to 4 weeks, or even a month to 3 months to break out to the downside. And we've been moving sideways for the last 60 days on BTC, right? Since June 18th. And the 21K we talked about like back in Q2, it is still playing out. Okay, 21K plus minus 10%. We're still in the same range. Okay, and guess what, guys? Our target when we started to short BTC was like around like a 40K. We were talking about like BTC dropping down to a 21K plus minus 10%. Okay, and that was back in April. Back in April, guys. So you got April, May, June, July, August, right? We're about to be in September. So 5 months. Okay, so we talked about it 5 months ago. So AVAX, I think I got an AVAX macro chart. So AVAX, the next macro average support going to be around like at $10. Okay, that's going to be the next macro support. We hit all these targets. The only target we missed to the upside for AVAX was like 185 to 205. And right here, after we broke out below the $100 range, we started to short AVAX. Okay, started to short AVAX. So look for the $10 support. Yes, that's going to be a 70% drop. If we retest $10, that's going to be 70% drop from our local high right here, $30. So that's going to be what? That's going to be pretty good. Okay, in terms of like a temporary support for the next like a 2 to 4 weeks you know, after retesting the $10 average support. I wouldn't worry about like the $4 to $2.50 range as of now. Maybe next year, but I don't see us going down to these areas, right? This area in the next like couple of weeks. Okay, I could be wrong, but we'll just focus on a possible short-term trade around $10 range and wait for like a 2 to 4 weeks to get a nice pump and get out. If it is a short-term trade. If it is a long-term trade, you know, you just buy and hold and wait for the you know, $4 to $3 range to accumulate again for the next long-term hold, right? Yes, 4 to, you know, just about like $4, right, will be around like 97% drop, which is pretty normal in this market. AMP, I think AMP just have to use so AMP is breaking down. Let's take a look at it on the weekly. So MACD never flipped bullish on the weekly. We got a bullish MACD. So it looks like you're going to get a possible parabolic move all the way down to 0033. Let's take a look at AMP BTC. I think I had a chart to 25 sats rep. So I'm more comfortable with AMP BTC. Okay, I sent this chart in my premium group. Okay, also look for the 25 to 50 sats macro. Right now we at 30 sats. Okay, so I would focus on AMP BTC. It has a better chart. The reason for that, you got a parabolic move to the upside and another parabolic move to the downside. I said it last year when AMP was almost like 100 sats. Okay, that's when I was you know, that's when I was saying like the macro support going to be all the way down to 25, 15 sats. Right now we at 33, okay, which is a good level to start accumulating on the next dip. Weekly RSI is positive, so that's a good news, right? And once we hit the once we get enough consolidation, because we're at the bottom as of now, right? You could say like you know, 30 sats to 25 sats is the same thing. Okay, so once we get enough consolidation right here, you just have to be very patient, right? And sometimes you could get some big pump and then retest before the next like a big macro move. So it could take a very long time before you get the next before you get the next pump. So you just have to be very patient. Once we hit 15, you know, up to 25 sats. Okay, it could take like, you know, 6 to 18 months before you get the next parabolic move. And I'm not talking about like 50% pump. I'm talking about like, you know, 10x, 20x moves, right? Something like that, going back to a possible 20x. And don't hold it above this range. You got to suck it up and sell it into BTC, right? If we ever hit a 250 to 300 sats, and look for another alt at the bottom. If we take a look at one BTC, right, we bought it right here. Back then, that's what I was saying, accumulate one BTC right around like 30 sats, okay, 25 sats and so on. And if we drop down to like a 13 sats, accumulate more. And if you take a look at it after that, sucker pumped, you know, 50x against BTC, pump 50x against BTC. And we bought it like back in you know, back in November 2020. That's when I said it. You know, we had that set up back in November 2020. Okay, because one BTC and FET BTC, they had the same setup. Take a look at FET BTC right here, the parabolic move to the upside, parabolic move to the downside, and I was like accumulate FET BTC right here, right? even FTM BTC back then had the same setup right here. And I said accumulate FTM around like 100 sats, and it dumped down to like 50 cents. And I was like, that could be the bottom. The parabolic move is done, right? You got your parabolic move to the upside, right? Got your parabolic move to the upside, and now you got your parabolic move to the downside. So just suck it up right here and wait, all right? And FTM pump like 100x, something like that, man. Come on. You only get these moves from Zen Crypto. And I'm the only one, guys, out there. Okay, this guy pumped over 300x against BTC. Okay, so all you needed to do is just be patient at the bottom. So if you take a look at AMP, not NPM, AMP, right? You just have to be very patient in this range of 15 sats and so on. Okay, so just have to be very patient. Okay, if we get a surprise move, it could just be a parabolic move like that. Shiba USDT, I mean Shiba, I mean, if you were in our premium last October, okay, September, actually August, that's when we said to get into Shiba when sucker was around like 800, something like that. Okay, we did have a target all the way up to 7,000. Okay, and I said Shiba, temporary support going, I mean macro support going to be somewhere around like 800 to 900. We retested it and pumped back up. Okay, but it seems like it can still drop lower as BTC is not behaving in a bullish manner. So you could be looking for possibly down to like 200. Okay, if BTC doesn't basically doesn't stay bullish. So we got hash rate 87, 84, 13, 56, 87, 64, 15, 84 in the house. So that was the analysis for that hash rate. Let's see. Let's take a look at CNS. This guy, you just have to multiply it by 1000. So CNS, it is still at the bottom, so it is not doing anything special as of now. So you just have to wait and see what we will get. Okay, but it is at the bottom against BTC. All right. I mean, FTM USDT, we called for the top back in January, right here, right in our premium. We said get out at $3 and started shorting it around like a 211, guys. If you guys recall, you can go back and watch that analysis, like when I was saying what's going on with FTM right there. Okay, at the very top, So the next macro support for FTM going to be 50% pullback at just about like a 9 cents. Okay, give or take 9-10 cents area. And that's going to be a temporary buy, right, for another possible 30, 40, 50% pump. Okay. Yeah, and if you've been following us, right, we talk about FTM right here, not in USD, but in BTC, November 2020. We did not catch the the first wave, right? I wasn't even analyzing FTM USD back then. I didn't care because FTM BTC was dumping anyway. So so hash rate ending 1584 says I'm down 50%. It's okay, I will wait. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at GAL. So Gala is almost at 0.03. Looks like it, I mean, it could break it, okay? Even though MACD cross positive right here on our weekly, just pay attention to the 50% pullback, because if the BTC dominance breaks south to the upside, right, you got to be very cautious, okay? You could be looking for the next fib to the downside around like 0.015. However, if the BTC dominance breaks down, the 0.038 could hold and we could be pushing back up. So it all depends. It depends on what the BTC dominance will be doing. So I can tell you with 100% confidence level, right, this guy will hold right here. But if the BTC dominance breaks out to the upside, you could be trying to catch it right here while the BTC dominance is getting the job done. And once the BTC dominance topped out temporarily, you could be looking for another pushback up to 0.03. So we could get a mini alt season like what happened between June and July, between June to August, right? If the BTC dominance goes up to like, let's say 50%, right? So, because the BTC dominance cannot drop if ETH. So the BTC dominance cannot drop, right? If the Ether dominance, right, doesn't drop, right? You see the Ether dominance right here, okay? It is topping out, right? It has to come down. And if you recall, I wasn't using this chart, but I was saying the Ether dominance will drop lower, okay? And if you want to use the CoinTrader.pro chart, right, you could be looking for the Ether dominance to drop as low as 12%, 11%. But that could take like a very long time, right? Unless we get a very impulsive move. All right. Right, so that's going to be the next support for the Ether dominance, at 12 to 11%. All right, let's take a look at EOS. Now I can do that in here. So EOS, it is just holding the macro support temporarily, right? $1 to 150. The lower end support could be all the way down to 43. I think it is going to be all-time low. I'm just gonna switch that to 0.47 to 0.43. Okay. Yeah, it does have a nice bullish divergence right here on the weekly. So be careful like shorting it. I think like someone was trying to short it yesterday because EOS was just pumping against the market. But I was like, it does look good in terms of resistance, but in terms of indicators, EOS was not pointing down yet. Yeah, so in terms of indicators, right, the daily MACD was still pointing up, even though market was dumping. So I wasn't very confident, like saying like EOS will, will break this trend line support right here. Okay. So it has resistance up to 190. It is at resistance right now. So just be cautious long in it, unless you accumulated EOS BTC action. Okay. Take a look at EOS BTC. So if you recall EOS BTC, our support was right here, somewhere around like 7,000 sats, right? 6,000, 7,000 sats. And we said if we break it, look for the 3,600 sats. and guess what, that's exactly where it got the support at. So if you're trading EOS BTC for the for the macro view, you're still looking good on EOS. You don't have to worry about EOS USD. Okay, so but could be approaching the weekly 100 EMA. So if you're trading EOS BTC, you don't care about EOS USD, you're looking to increase your BTC holding, keep an eye on the 100 weekly 100 EMA. Okay, so it means you don't want to be shorting EOS USD at all. Okay, yeah, nothing is pointing down as of now, everything is pointing up. It will cool off, but you don't know when. Okay, so if you bought EOS anywhere around like 3,800 3,600 range, so you're up massively, right here. It's up over 150% against BTC, and we got resistance up to 24,000. We'll see if we will get to 24,000. It will be a good set, right? If we break the weekly 100 EMA. Georgia's BNB BTC, it is at all-time high. So it is at all-time high, right? So just have to be very cautious. It is not showing yet on the weekly a sign of reversal, right? If we take a look at it on the 3D, it is not showing yet a sign of reversal. On the 2D, it is not yet showing any sign of reversal. MACD pointing up, RSI is pointing up, so you just have to be very patient. Okay, the support you could be looking for going to be somewhere around here, around like a 0.007. 0.007. Okay, that's going to be the support area. The entire move right here is not impulsive, it is just corrective, kind of like gold. Started back in 2020 till now, gold is printing the same pattern, and Intel is also printing the same pattern. Okay, so you just have to be very patient. Okay, if we break below 0.0123 right there, right, with a negative MACD on our 2D basis, you could start to speculate for for a downtrend. Okay, it could take a while, but but BNB USDT right here, next macro support going to be 150 to going to be 150 down to 120. Okay, I just don't have time to go through the macro analysis and all that good stuff, but if you see it at 150 down to 120, bang, that's going to be a good range for for the next macro hold, right? For possibly all the way up to 5 to 10,000 area. I already did a BNB macro analysis for the premium and all that good stuff. So, and BNB, we've been spot on for BNB over the last few years. When I was saying accumulate BNB $20, $25, $40 range, we're going to be breaking out to the upside. Right here at the top, above $500, we said it is going to drop all the way down to like $350, $340. And around like $400, we said it's going to drop down to $200, as low as $200, and it dropped down to $185. Okay, So we've been pretty, pretty much very accurate with BNB, right, on a macro level. Hey, what's up, HR? Thanks a lot for tuning in. I mean, BNB is a good buy, but don't sleep on BTC. You got to hold some BTC, right? I know BNB is a good buy, but whatever you do, make sure you get some BTC. T-Dog in a house was watching the kids. This is, if I recall well, it had a parabolic downtrend also. Okay, so I just have to be very patient with it, right? It looks like a little bit like EOS, so it is at a very good range to be accumulating, right? Nearly 50% below the support, right? Yeah, just about like 70% below the support. So it could give you a pop at any given time, right? Back to the May 2021 highs. Okay, so I just need to break the trend line support. Sometimes these alt, they don't give you any warning, they just start pumping, and you might be thinking like they're gonna come back down, and they just pump like 20x, right? It is a low cap coin, so maybe like under 20 million, something like that. Yeah, like 4 million market cap, so very low. Yeah, it is nearly down like 99%, something like that. So could give you a nice pump easily up to like 200 million market cap, 400 million market cap, bang, all right. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in, HR. All right. So let's go back and take a look at BTC really quickly. Okay, so you just have to be very cautious in this range of 24 25k area down to a 18 17 area, because you just don't know if we could be in another sideways correction for the next for the next few months, right? You just don't know. Okay, as we've been in a sideways correction the entire first quarter, right? BTC was just moving sideways right here, right, until we started the Q2. That's when we started to dump. So the entire Q2 we dumped right till right here, right? That's when we dumped it right there, right? And Q3 right there. Let's do this. July right here. So Q3 just started right here nearly, okay? Just about right here, right? It's just moving sideways also, right? So the entire Q2 we dumped the entire Q2. So we moved sideways first quarter, dumped second quarter, and third quarter we still moving sideways. So could we be moving sideways you know, for the next, like, you know, few months, right, till we start the you know, Q4 or mid Q4 before making a decision, right, either to pump or to dump, something like that. We don't know, so you just have to be very cautious. The big move was in Q2, so anything you're doing right now is just sideways correction. That's why I was saying 21k plus minus 10 could take a very long time to break. Okay, even though we broke below it like temporarily, it wasn't like a 40%, 50% breakout. Price action pump back up the same percentage, right, below the same percentage it dumped below 21k, it pumped it above 21k, right? Relatively close, right? 21k we dump, you know, 16%, right? Right here we pump 16%, 18%. So if you bought at 21k plus minus 10, you're still in range. Okay, but you want to catch these big moves right here, like what we had right here, or what we had right here. That's what you want to catch. Okay, so you want to catch the next one. Okay, you want to catch the next one down to possibly 16 or even 14.5, depending on the volatility. Yeah, but anything, you know, anything in this range is just sideways correction. So you just got to be very, very cautious. Either short the tops, right, put a stop loss, or buy the bottoms, right, and wait for reversal. But don't short like at, you know, 21k, right? I mean, after we called for the 24k, you know, 25k resistance. Yes, it could have pumped like all the way up to 26, right, next resistance, but the macro trend is down. Why look for a 2,000 point push, right, when you know you could get a possible 10,000 point to the downside? That was my reasoning. It could have pumped up to like 26, 27, or even 28, but the difference between 24 to 28 is only 4k. But take a look at the difference between 24 down to 16. That's 8,000. And even if you accumulate, even if it pumped to the upside, you would be getting a nice average above 24, 25, 27k, and you're going to take the whole 9 yards, right, to the downside. That was my reasoning. Not because like BTC couldn't pump like 26, but since like the macro trend, even up to the 50D cycle, if we take a look at the 50D cycle, I said it at the beginning of the Q3. I mean, I said the 50D cycle is in favor of a downtrend. Okay, the 50D cycle was not going to push back up above above 30k and close above it. I didn't see it happening. Okay, so that's why, you know, I just wasn't looking for a close above 30k, you know, in this current 50D cycle. Okay, and we just started a new 3-week cycle, so let's see, okay, if this cycle going to close below 17.5. Candle will close on the 10th of September. Okay, what is our fox? Our fox is getting wrecked. Okay, yeah, our fox is just following the market. It came out at the top, so just following the overall market. It looks like a 50% dump, right? 80% dump below it, below the support. So I don't know, it doesn't have enough history, no upside at all. 98% down. I mean, if something drops like 98, 99% drop, the only thing you could do is just buy, or don't touch it. That's it. It is not a strong bull divergence, but MACD is positive, so just look for the support right here, temporary 0.008. If we drop below it, it could drop another 50 to 70% below it. So you would be looking for like 0.0025, just like what happened right here. So if it breaks 0.009, 0.008, might just wait till we hit like 0.00225 to reaccumulate, okay, before the next like a macro uptrend. We way below the 21 EMA, so the risk is is getting lower and lower, because at some point it will retest the weekly 21. Okay, you just don't know when it will retest it, but it could do something like that and then just pushes to the upside, or it could even do something like that and pushes to the upside. So you just have to respect this support or the next one. That's it. All right, we got 20 watching, 11 likes. That's a bad ratio. All right, guys, I'm just gonna call it a day. 1 hour of live streaming. Hopefully, if we get more volatility tomorrow, right, above 23, below 20K, we will go for another live stream. But just be cautious between 21, 23. Unless you're short-term trading. I'm not short-term trading between 21, 23. If you short it at 24K, just suck it up, put a stop loss, take 10-15% profit, or even 30% profits, whatever you're comfortable with. Wait for the 18, 19 range, take more profits. Wait for this 17.5, take more profits. Just adjust stop loss. There is nothing you can do for the upside momentum, unless we get a 3D MACD, unless we get the 3D MACD not to cross negative, right? Then we could speculate for more upside momentum. Okay, by then we could get like enough data on our 6-hour time frame to say, hey, we're going to be pushing to the upside and all that good stuff, right? But as of now, the best thing to do is just not try to force the market to push to the upside, right? Just wait. We still got a pretty good chance, right? The MACD will not cross negative, but I don't know. I will just have to wait and see, because the 2D MACD could cross negative in the next like a few hours, and that will just put me in a very very bearish mood, right? And we'll just have to wait. Okay, as I always been saying, you don't want to short after the market is red. You want to short when the market is green. Yes, it's going to be it is going to be painful when you're shorting the market, right, and it's going up, but you're shorting at resistance. It's not like you are shorting BTC at 24K, 25K, with no resistance. Okay, and 24K was a resistance, right? It pumped 1,000 point above it, but who cares? Okay, if you're swing trading, you just got to be very patient, right? So let's just hope, right, that the 2D MACD will cross negative and we will get a higher momentum to the downside. Okay, we will get a higher momentum to the downside. If not, we could be reevaluating, right, the range right here between 21 up to 24K. Okay, could be more sideways correction, or even going up to like the weekly 21 down the road, right? But all I want to say is, once again, the trend in the short to medium term, it is still down. Anything could happen in the next like a 24-48 hours, but as of now, the best thing to do, if you short it at 24 or higher, just put a stop loss. That's it. All right, I don't have no bullish setup as of now. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching.